Hello friends, I got these Steam Deck skins from dbrand and I thought it would be fun to share the application process with all of you since it is my first time trying out this brand, but also of course my first time putting on a skin on the Steam Deck, and it shipped in an envelope. I thought it did a great job with protecting the skins from damage during shipment, as you can see, and I went with the white leather color. I was so torn between this and the matte white, but I'm glad that I went with it because it's so much prettier in person as well, and I feel like the leather texture gives it a more premium feel. It also shipped with this cute little cleaning cloth, which we'll need a lot later on in the application. Their video tutorial on YouTube actually calls for a hairdryer, so this is the one that I'll be using, but you can use whatever you like. This isn't sponsored by dbrand, by the way, so if you're listening, dbrand, hey, we should talk. But we do have another brand kindly sponsor us for this video, which we'll talk about more on later. I mentioned in my Steam Deck review that this is one of the only 2 cases that are for sale right now for the Steam Deck. And I think that it's a shame that accessory companies aren't jumping on the Steam Deck right now. I feel like it's such a missed opportunity. I'm sure more will come later on, but props to dbrand for, getting their skin game on so quickly. Just giving it a good wipe to make sure that no dust and debris will get stuck underneath the skin. As a dog mama of 2 adorable little doggos, it's unavoidable to get dust and hair particles everywhere, but nothing that a good wipe can't fix. I also did end up watching their tutorial video once, but it's pretty straightforward for the most part. I've applied and used skins before, just my first time using dbrand in this case. And what I do appreciate about their skins though is how precise their cutouts are, and just even the pieces of the skins. And this makes the application so much easier because you only need to align 1 or 2 points on the skin and the rest just naturally fall into place. And they did advise that you leave out the end tabs. That is where you'll be using your hairdryer for, to apply a little bit of heat, and what this will do is make it a bit more soft and flexible, so that I can actually sit and mold into the curves of the Steam Deck's body, as you can see here. And we'll just repeat the process for the other side. And so far, so good. Moving on to probably the easiest part of the Steam Deck, which are the trackpads, because they are such a large surface and it's also completely flat. I noticed online that some people are leaving this out and letting the black peek through a bit more, or they're choosing a different color to put on it, which I think it's so interesting, the different color combinations that people are coming up with. I'd love to know what colors you might put together if you're going to pick this up for your Steam Deck. Feel free to pop down below and let me know. Now, moving on to the grips. This is the part that gave me the most grief, unfortunately, but some of you might have better luck. I think because it is the largest curve on the Steam Deck's body, I struggled with that quite a bit, but if you go through this very easily, then the rest of the application will be a breeze. So applying heat on the edges there, making sure that it's nice and soft. I do wonder if having the leather texture makes it a little more challenging to work with, and maybe the smooth matte skins are easier to apply. As you can see, I am getting some folding and some bubbling, but if you guys are more familiar with dbrand skins, feel free to let me know below. And also, if you have any tips on how I can get rid of this completely, I would absolutely love that. I do go back over it quite a bit with more heat and just more pressure. It looks much better now. I also fixed it a bit more after finishing this video, but it's not completely gone. At least I can still notice it personally. And we're just repeating these steps once again on the other side here. Spring is here, and that means a new season for blooming fashion and accessories, and same goes for accessorizing our tech, of course. Casetify's spring collection is filled with blooming florals, vibrant pastels, and so much more. Choose from a selection of curated prints or even personalize it for a truly custom look. The G-Tech 2.0 gives a drop protection of up to 9.8 feet, so you're protecting your phone but also the planet, because they pride themselves in using recycled materials all the way down to their packaging. They're non-toxic, non-hazardous, and most importantly these days, their phones even have Defensify, which is an antimicrobial coating that kills 99% of bacteria and prevents them from sticking to the surface in the first place. So be sure to pop over to casetify.com/acasualgamer to get 15% off your entire order and treat yourself to some lovely new cases this spring season. Thank you again to Casetify, and now back to the video. The Steam Deck has these little black outlines throughout the body, and that makes it very easy to align the skins to. And this actually went on much better than the first one, so it could also be that I just applied too much heat on the other one that it ended up warping the skin. So, you know, maybe it is just user error, and that little bit of practice helped us out a little bit. The thing too with dbrand that I noticed is they are at a bit of a higher price point compared to the other brands that I've tried out in the past. I'm not sure that I noticed that much of a difference in quality. They also don't ship out with a spare skin, so just something to keep in mind, I suppose. But as you can see, this looks way better than the first one. Less bubbling, less folding. And now we're moving on to the front piece. What I did here is I took off the skin and moved it up from the backing so that only a portion of it is exposed. And what this does is helps you avoid the rest of the skin sticking where you don't want it to stick, and so it lets you just really focus on the areas where you want to align it to. While you are able to pull it up and readjust and realign, I don't think that you're able to do it as much without risking just stretching it out or damaging it in some way. So I would advise you do this so you're able to focus on just one portion of the Steam Deck at first, and then once you have that aligned, then we can move on to the other side, which I am doing here. I'm taking the backing once again and I'm rotating that to only expose the portion once again that we're working on. Here I'm using the buttons and the trackpad as a guide to where I want to lay the skin. By the way, would you guys like to see more voiceover videos like this, or do you prefer sit-down videos from me? It's actually my first time doing a complete voiceover video, and I mean, it's a lot of fun, but I always love to hear what you guys prefer. So please feel free to let me know by leaving a like or popping into the comments once again. I'm also going to be making more videos about the Steam Deck, about the games I'm enjoying on it, more accessory videos down the line, because I'm honestly searching every corner of the internet for more Steam Deck accessories, so please consider subscribing as well if you'd like to stay tuned on all of that. Making sure to pay attention to the corners with a hairdryer. And as you can see, besides those two front grips, the rest of it is pretty seamless. Now I'm just using the heat from the hairdryer once again to go around the screen, and I'm using a cleaning cloth, especially working around this area just to avoid any sort of damage to the Steam Deck screen. Overall, it is a very simple, straightforward process, but it just takes a lot of patience. I think this whole process took me just a little over half an hour, and maybe it'll take a little bit less time, but I am someone who likes to make sure the skin applications are quite precise. It does bother me when there's like a millimeter of misalignment and you know, maybe that won't bother you too much, but to each their own. We're moving on to the back now, and this is the final piece. What I'm doing here is that I'm just peeling the backing a little bit to expose the top of the skin, and this is kind of a similar idea of what we did at the front, where we're avoiding the rest of the skin sticking to where we're not trying to align yet. So I'm using the 4 screw holes here to align, and again, really appreciating how simple it is to line up dbrand skins, because all I needed to do was use these 4 holes, and then as we peel down, everything is pretty much lined up and ready to go. Just being very careful though, it is a bigger piece of skin back here and we don't want to stretch it out by accident. Going down the back, I'm using the back buttons and the fangirls as a marker as well. Putting heat on these tabs again. They are pieces that will wrap around the grip and has a bit more of a curve once again. For this piece here, I used the SD card slot to make sure that everything is aligned. And one last final flap here. I thought this part was pretty cool. If you apply heat and pressure on the center back, you can actually see the Valve logo peeking through. And it's just that cute finishing touch, I feel, to all of the work that we just did. And well, that brings us to the end. What do you guys think of this look? Do you guys like the white Steam Deck? What will you be getting if you're going to pick up the dbrand skin for your Steam Deck? Feel free to leave your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me as always. I appreciate you guys. Take care of yourselves and I will see you next time.